Chapter 15, 71, Luo Po Seal, Translator, Atlas Studios, Editor, Atlas Studios. Langya, Blessed Land, Cloud Cover Continent. Immortal Killer Move, Myriad Self-Giant Hand. Fang Yuan floated in the air. His aura exploded with a loud sound as a giant hand appeared out of nowhere, slamming towards the ground. Instantly, air currents pushed out as the huge palm descended like a toppling mountain, slamming fiercely on the cloud soil ground. Cloud Cover Continent was designed by Lang Ya Land Spirit personally. It was made of cloud soil, able to float in the air without ever landing. The cloud soil was not tough. Fang Wen's myriad self-giant hand had rank 7 attacking power. This hand shattered the cloud soil of all the surroundings, falling down towards the vast sea below. Fang Wen was testing his killer move. He was not trying to destroy Cloud Cover Continent. Thus, when his hand landed on Cloud Cover Continent, Lang Ya Blessed Land's super immortal formation activated. A silver light resembling flowing water appeared on Cloud Cover Continent. After Myriad's self-giant hand landed on the cloud soil, the silver light was destroyed as cloud soil scattered around. The surrounding terrain was completely altered. There was a huge handprint on the ground that was several meters deep. Fang Yuan willed as the giant hand quickly vanished. Seeing the effect, he nodded in satisfaction. With Myriad's self-immortal goo, Giant Hand is much easier to use now. In the past, in order to use Myriad's self-giant hand, Fang Yuan had to first activate the killer move Myriad Self and store countless Strength Path Phantoms in his immortal aperture. Next, using these Strength Path Phantoms, he had to use Group Strength Goo to unleash Strength Path Giant Hand. The process was very tedious. If he did not store Strength Path Phantoms in his immortal aperture, he could not use Giant Hand in a life-and-death battle. But Strength Path Phantoms could not be stored for a long time. They would disappear after some time and disintegrate on their own. It was usable for battles he was prepared for, but in unexpected situations, or when he was ambushed, Myriad's self-giant hand could not be used. Thankfully, Fang Yuan had deep wisdom and a cautious mind. He had always been keeping an eye out for such situations. He did not end up in an awkward spot. In the past, using Myriad's self-killer move already needed self-strength. Immortal Goo, Bitter Strength Goo, Borrow Strength Goo, Self-Reliance Goo, Refine Essence Spirit Goo, Amplify Effect Goo, Earth Strength Goo, Fire, Water, Wind, Lightning Strength Goo, and countless other mortal goo. But now I just need to use Myriad Self-Immortal Goo. But now my Myriad Self-Giant Hand only needs Myriad Self-Immortal Goo as the core with some Group Strength Goo as a supplementary mortal goo. It requires less than 30 goo worms in total and is very simple compared to the past. The former Myriad Self-Giant Hand was evidently unusable now. After refining Myriad Self-Immortal Goo, Fang Yuan modified Myriad Self-Giant Hand into a new version using Myriad Self-Immortal Goo as the core. The core Self-Strength Immortal Goo was no longer used. This meant that Self-Strength Immortal Goo could be used in other aspects. Of course, he could also add it into the Myriad Self-Giant Hand Killer move to increase its strength. That would depend on Fang Yuan's further modification. Actually, Myriad Self-Giant Hand has room for improvement. For example, if the speed is insufficient, I can add Mortal Goo to fix that flaw. I can also add Soul Path Immortal Goo to allow Giant Hand to capture souls as well. Furthermore, the power of Giant Hand is merely limited by my Strength Path downmarks. I can continue to strengthen it. The current Giant Hand has rank 7 power, but is not at the peak. It is because my Sovereign Immortal Body's Strength Path downmarks cannot sustain greater power. Fang Yuan had only started modifying Myriad Self-Giant Hand. After changing the core Immortal Goo, there was still huge room for improvement. In the past, the killer move was too complicated and expended too much thinking and time. Adding more goo worms would lower its usability. But now Myriad's self-killer move was condensed into one goo worm. The process was very simple. He could add more Mortal Goo and Immortal Goo to make an even stronger Giant Hand. Fang Yuan's practice this time was not just on the Strength Path Giant Hand. He was also testing Lang Yasek's defensive super immortal formation. When Feng Zhuge invaded earlier, this immortal formation had been very useful. It preserved the lives of many variant human goo immortals, and also helped Lang Yasek get through that tough situation. Feng Zhuge used Separation Song on the immortal formation multiple times. But Fang Yuan had expected it and split the immortal formation into many layers. Feng Zhou Ge separated many layers, but did not get to the core after all. This time, Fang Yuan did not just modify Myriad Self-Giant Hand, he also modified the immortal formation and allowed its range to extend throughout Lang Ya sect. Earlier, when the Strength Path Giant Hand landed on Cloud Cover Continent, this immortal formation was the reason why the destructive effect was reduced. After testing Strength Path Giant Hand, he moved on to the more important matter. Immortal Killer Move. Reverse Flow, Protection Seal. This killer move determined Fang Yuan's upper limit. It was only through this he could contest rank 8s. Right now, the core of the killer move was the secluded domain of heaven and earth reverse flow river, myriad self-immortal goo, perseverance immortal goo, pulling water immortal goo, and over 100 mortal goo. Even though it was more complex than myriad self-giant hand, this was way simpler than the previous reverse flow protection seal. After simplifying the killer move, the success rate of activation rose sharply. It was more usable in battle now. During the battle in Green Ghost Desert, I was sneak attacked and could not use reverse flow protection seal in time. Now the activation time has shrunk greatly. I should be able to deal with most assaults. However, I can no longer conceal reverse flow protection seal's modifications and set a trap. The trick I used on Thunder Ghost True Monarch only works once. Fang Yuan felt it was a pity. Reverse flow protection seal killer move had become much easier to use now due to myriad self-immortal goo. But this was Fang Yuan's current limit. Adding more immortal goo would be difficult. He could no longer set a trap like earlier and reveal a brand new reverse flow protection seal within a short period of time. After some deductions, Fang Yuan went into seclusion again, deducing other killer moves. Even though Fang Yuan was calm, he was filled with pressure. Against a huge force like Heavenly Court, who would have no pressure? The refinement of Myriad's self-immortal goo was not only to elevate several killer moves. Fang Yuan's true motive was to create a third variation move. Luo Po Seal. I was affected by Lu Weiyin's immortal killer move and lived through 3 lifetimes. These dreams were very mystical, especially the third life. It was a huge inspiration for my Luo Po Seal. But I had a lot of obstructions earlier when deducing Luo Po Seal. There was a huge hurdle to cross. This myriad self-immortal goo is like a bridge that might allow me to cross this hurdle and attain success. Fang Yuan felt excitement and anticipation. Even though he raised his reputation using the battle against Thunder Ghost True Monarch and suppressed Feng Zhou Ge, Fang Yuan knew that he was inferior to Feng Zhou Ge in many aspects. Feng Zhou Ge could fight rank 8 because he had a deep accumulation of sound path Dao marks, evenly matching rank 8. Even without rank 8 sound path immortal goo on him, his killer moves could reach quasi-rank 8 because of the amplification of his Dao marks. Meanwhile, Fang Yuan could fight rank 8 because he was using the vast number of Dao marks inside Reverse Flow River. His own Dao marks in several paths reached rank 7, but he was still far from rank 8. Even if he annexed the blessed lands inside City Well, he would still be far from rank 8. Fang Yuan was not inferior to Feng Zhou Ge in talent. Feng Zhou Ge was unprecedented in creating assimilation windsong. He was the first Gu immortal able to summon the winds of assimilation. Meanwhile, Fang Yuan created Myriad Self and combined strength and enslavement path. It was also a revolutionary creation. The two of them were equally matched. Now that Fang Yuan condensed the killer move into Myriad self-immortal goo, his status had risen again, because he could create an entirely new path along this route of development. Compared to just a killer move, there was much more room for development. Goo cultivation paths were created like this. Some were the fusion of 2 paths, while others were subclassification of existing paths. Fang Yuan and Feng Zhou Ge were only different in terms of age. How many years had Fang Yuan cultivated since rebirth? Feng Zhou Ge had already lived for hundreds of years. Fang Yuan made such achievements before the age of 50, it was very rare that he could match Feng Zhou Ge compared to normal people. He was simply a monster. His cultivation level rose at an unbelievable rate. It could not be assessed normally. After all, Fang Yuan's rebirth had huge advantages. And the truth was, Fang Yuan's own Dao mark accumulation was quite high. But now heaven's will was against him, and made his tribulations weak so he could not get downmarks. Annexing immortal apertures was a way, but the upper extreme heavenly eagle had not returned to him yet, while other methods needed specific immortal goo and were troublesome to refine. Food path methods like snack immortal goo could be used for the killer move eat strength, but the efficiency of this increase in downmarks was too low. While the grass grows, the horse starves, Fang Yuan naturally placed his attention on the secluded domains of heaven and earth. Fang Yuan had quite a few secluded domains of heaven and earth: Luo Po Valley, Donghun Mountain, Reverse Flow River, City Well, a total of 4 secluded domains of heaven and earth. Among them, Reverse Flow River had already been used for Reverse Flow Protection Seal. It allowed Fang Yuan to fight rank 8 existences. Donghun Mountain had already been destroyed and was still in the middle of reparation. City Well was needed to raise variant humans, and in terms of rule path, Fang Yuan was lacking. The most suitable target was Luo Po Valley. Fang Yuan's soul path attainment level was ordinary, but he had spectral soul's true inheritance, the #1 soul path inheritance in this world. Nobody could deny that. On that foundation, along with the inspiration that Fang Yuan obtained from the trials of the 3 lifetimes, and also with myriad self-immortal goo, if I add in the light of wisdom, I should succeed in deducing Luo Po Seal, right? Fang Yuan pondered.